Welcome back, Disney Lorcana enthusiast. It's been a really hectic week already, and as of recording, it's only Wednesday. We took a day off. It was like, we're not gonna film Maui. It's fine. I'll get to it the next one. I'm sure it'll be okay. And then boom, we got hit with 4 more cards. So this is a bit of a big episode. I'm gonna do my best to move through all of the SWOT analysis through the cards one by one, since we have five, five times the amount as normal. So let's get right on into this. Let's bring up, of course, we are filming for the Disney Lorcana trading card game. And during our card reviews, we use the SWOT analysis overview. It's on the screen for you here just to go through it. Once again, SWOT analysis for today's cards will be strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. Now, that's it. Let's move forward. Let's get right on into the one, the only. You're welcome. That's right. We did it. We love it. I love Maui. Huge fan. So let's get into Maui Demigod. He is a beefcake. 8 cost, 8 strength, 8 willpower. We got triple eights, and he is a 3 lore machine, but he's a steel vanilla card. We've been seeing lots and lots of vanilla cards recently, and people are getting a little upset by it. Personally, I think it's okay. You gotta understand a little bit from the designer's aspects of things and ways. And when you have so many of these characters that you can truly bring to life at any given moment, you kind of have to understand that it's okay for a Maui to be a vanilla, because I am more than certain that there will be plenty more other Mauis in the future that will be as loving and charismatic as we all truly hope. There might even be more in chapter 1. But for nonetheless, let's break down this guy, bring him up in full screen. Strength, massive. He's massive, guys. That's all I got to say, right? No, seriously. Maui is gigantic, and currently only defending against Simba can allow you to trade with Maui in a 1-for-1 through challenges. Everything else in the game at this very moment, Maui challenges and lives to tell the tale, which is pretty big, pretty important as we go through this character. But nonetheless, he has 3 lore as well, being an 8/8 makes him a great finisher for Steel. Steel has a little bit problematic of a end game scenario currently, so adding in this massive 8/8/8 with 3 lore might be pretty good in some of the more control-ish Steel decks. The weakness, of course, is the same as its strength. It costs 8, and it has no immediate board impact. Therefore, you're committing a lot of resources to the board on turn 8. We're not changing anything, so depending on where the game is, this might not be the best play very often on turn 8. The opportunity, however, is to be paired with Sapphire to either get him out faster with ramp, or have Aurora to protect him from spot removal. Also, the pair with Steel and Ruby or Emerald to keep the board clear for his late game potential to close out games is all very well. Anything that has multiple layers of removal, along with the potential to utilize it with ramp, all seems pretty good. And of course, just a little insight here for maybe there is some DD synergy incoming, with Hades. We'll see what happens. Because there's now been a couple different cards released with DD, and not even the only card today. Threats, spot removal, swarming the board. Obviously, if your opponent is well ahead and has 4 or 5 cards in play, even 2 or 3 cards in play, then you playing Maui on 8 might not be enough to keep you in the game or keep you, going with everything. So, and obviously, spot removal as usual, very easily to get rid of the 8 cost guy. While I think it's understandable that people are upset that he's just a vanilla card, in all honesty, an 8/8/8 with 3 lore, the card might be pretty good, to be honest. And it wouldn't shock me at all if you actually see this in some number of them and some quantity of them in Steel decks, specifically like the control or mid-range tempo decks. But we'll get into the next one. So our next card is, of course, we're going to bring them up. It is the Zeus, God of Lightning. This is, I feel like I keep saying this. This art is phenomenal. Just on paper, through everything that's come out the last couple weeks. Rafiki's art was really great. Zeus's art is really spectacular. The Amethyst art's just really, I just love them. I really, really enjoy them. So, here we are with Zeus, God of Lightning, 4 cost, uninkable Amethyst card, zero strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore. But he has some abilities. He has Rush, and then he also has Challenger 4. So, while at first glance this card looks pretty mediocre, I would say, if you just kind of buckle down and go, well, this is more than likely a 4-cost Dragon's Fire, that's pretty good. Like this guy can come in and he can kill, like he can banish just about everything on curve, 1 through 4, and even in some cases up to 5 and 6. So when you look at him in that vein, he's a pretty powerful card and definitely warrants the uninkable, if you ask me. But let's break him down. Let's look into the strength of Zeus, God of Lightning. Strength, Rush, 4 power when challenging, can swing up, way up the curve, takes out most 6 drops currently immediately, gains 2 lore after taking out characters. It's a solid 1 or 2 of card, most likely. Weakness, of course, 0 base strength, and it's uninkable. So, you gotta roll with the punches. You can't have it all, right? The opportunity, of course, is to combine with other removal, Ruby, Steel, and Emerald, for more clear the board so he can survive longer and take out a character with Rush. And once again, here's another DD card, so we could have more DD synergy coming in the future. But the threats, of course, are Amethyst is reaching a critical mass of uninkables and likely competes with Rafiki. So it's actually really crazy when you really start to look at the Amethyst. You have Maleficent biding our time. You have Rafiki now. You have Zeus now. Like all of these cards are really, really powerful cards in the game, and you're gonna have to really start making choices between what your uninkables are going to be in a deck and what you're going to be pairing with that. You're also not wanting uninkables from that color potentially, because right now, like I said, Amethyst just has a ton of really strong cards. So let's move forward here. But yeah, Zeus, God of Lightning, definitely an interesting card. We're gonna have to wait and see where the uninkable, god ends up and how often he is actually utilized in most of these decks. So let's get into the next one. We have Peter Pan Neverlanding. This is a spectacular card. So for 3 ink, he's an emerald card, and he has 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, and evasive. Now, this again is just a really, really solid card. We've been discussing a lot between myself and Scott, what the rest of the set is going to look like. And we already know, we're probably going to see X of 2/2/3s and X of 3/3/2s and things like that. So to see the Emerald card be a 3/3/2 with evasive, and it being, one of the most fun characters in Disney lore, Peter Pan, that's really great. I also, I need to point this out. We're going to go to full screen real quick. You need to the flavor text, what's the matter, Hook? Can't you fly? It was a wonderful catch by B Squared on Twitter, stating that if you read Peter Pan Neverlanding, and then you read the flavor text of Fire the Cannons, it is just so flavorful. I'll have it up on screen here in a moment, but perfectly combined, wonderful thing. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the strength of Peter Pan. His strength is elusive, means evasive, guys. Inkable, 3 cost, 2 strength, 1 lore are fine stats for a character that avoids challenges, takes out a low cost elusive or evasive cards below him, like Pasquale, among potential other suitors in the near future. Impact on board at all times due to evasive. So again, all of these things are really, really great. This is a pretty stellar card for, a strength of a 3-cost card in Emerald that they may have been lacking. So his weakness, of course, is 2 willpower, is vulnerable to Fire the Cannons and larger. Most of the evasive cards that will trade and live to tell the tale against Peter Pan are 5 or more. So there is that, just a little bit of vulnerability, of course. And then we have the opportunity to be paired with Ruby and have a flood of evasives at various drops throughout the game, paired with Ruby, Amethyst, Steel, removal, draw, keep the small board for him to shine is definitely a wonderful place for him to kind of land. The threats, again, fire the cannons, smash, other potential small removal, anything that would end up doing two direct damage to a chosen character would harm Peter Pan. So if we get more cards similar to Fire the Cannons, then this card will start to wean off a little bit. But in the end, it'll still be a really playable card, and it'll almost warrant your opponent into having to have those things to make up for how good this card might actually treat. All in all, really enjoy Peter Pan. Really think he's a solid card. He's very likely like a 4 of in every single Emerald deck, if I'm being completely honest. So let's move on to the next one, though. My wife was definitely happy to see Ariel Wholesale Collector. She is a gigantic Ariel fan, and it's really, really cool, in all honesty, for me to see a card like Ariel be this engine in the game. And we're going to cover what that is in a moment here. But like the fact that we could potentially have an entire deck based around this card is really, really fun and interesting. It's definitely something that people have been wanting for a little while because of Maurice, because of Belle. This is just another, it's another piece of that puzzle that has been, really starting to come together and spoiled, but we definitely need some more items. So let's take a look. Let's break down the SWOT analysis for Ariel. Strength, ability to ready is extremely powerful, allows for multiple uses in a turn, very easy card advantage / combo engine, princess / hero synergy, pays for herself after only one use of challenging, 100%. Weaknesses, it's uninkable, 3 power and 3 strength and 3 willpower is a bit problematic in a 4-cost body, but when you have the ability to continuously untap potentially, it's not as problematic. Needs a low-cost item to shine. So there are a bunch of them. I'm going to have them all up on screen here, and we can really talk about through the opportunity cost here with synergies of Belle and Maurice, powerful combos with Amethyst, Pocket Watch / Mirror, Amber with Lantern and Dinglehopper, Steel with Beast Mara. And in all honesty, guys, this is just some of the things. There's definitely more items to come. I was just also talking to Scott about the concept that we've had 15 or 20 cards revealed in the last week or so, and no actions, no items. They have to be coming. It's got to be more than just coconuts. I'm just saying it has to be. So, of course, last but not least are the threats. If AoE exists, it will be hard for her to gain card advantage. Takes out a small character with a low willpower remaining and then taken out by AoE is definitely not the most ideal line of play for a 4-cost uninkable. So you'll have to be wary of the AoE that may be coming. Again, this card is phenomenal. I'm really, really enjoying, the true idea of what Ariel has to offer, creating a way for the engine of Maurice and Belle to truly really win a game with, or just turn a game around. I think is a lot of fun to really consider, and I'm definitely looking forward to more blue items, more sapphire items to make all of this, this puzzle really complete and come together. So let's get into the next card. It is the one and the only king, guys. This is King of Pride Rock. It is Simba, the future king. And the point, the flavor text real quick, I'm going to be the best king in the Pride Lands have ever seen. Phenomenal. I love it. This is a great, great art. Everything about this card is wonderful. This is easily the most staple card, I think, released of all of it. I think Steel is absolutely in need of this. Getting rid of your goons is not going to feel bad whatsoever to play Simba in its place. But let's break him down. He is a 1-cost inkable steel card with 1 strength, 2 willpower, and 1 lore with the ability of guess what. When you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So Simba, the future king, his strength is simple, guys. He's a low cost. He's inkable. He has card sifting, which means you draw and discard. Has use in all phases of the game due to cheap economy, getting to more on curve or correct threats. He's doing so many things at a 1 cost. It's unbelievable. His weakness is 1 strength. means you cannot trade with on curve or with most one drops, but with more utility one drops emerge as the metagame, it may not matter. In all honesty, it might not matter regardless. Getting this card in play, having him sift, having him mold their hand, it's gonna pay off almost every single time. The opportunity is that it easily fits into any steel deck, allowing you to cheat the numbers on cards you play, which means a lot of the decks you've been seeing recently, have 4 of every card because it's like, oh, I want to draw these cards, etc. Zimba having 4 Zimbas, having cards like the other side. Even in this steel amethyst deck that we'd already seen, adding Zimba to that deck is just only going to make the fluidity of that deck even more fluid, which is ridiculous. So if paired with other cards and draw selections would allow you for more low numbers of actual cards and actual threats you want to play. And of course, Prince Synergy, again, we have to assume that at some point in the near future, we're going to get some type of card that, is really good for all princes. Threats could be overrun in the early game. If you draw too many of them, just sifting and not playing anything real, always a general issue when you really come to think about these things. So of course this was a lot to take in a very short amount of time. I tried to do my best to get through the cards in an accurate manner to not make this video run so long, but in all honesty, these cards were all great. All 5 of them truly, I think, have a bit of a purpose. I know yesterday or 2 days ago at this point, Maui was really hurt, and a lot of people were really upset about Maui, but I think that he has a purpose. I think he has like an actual realistic chance to be a playable card in some control decks. The Little Mermaid Ariel being an engine for an entire archetype of maybe like a combo-ish deck is really exciting. Seeing Simba come out and just be phenomenal is also really exciting. All of these cards truly have something to offer each of their respectable inks. I think that's wonderful. So with that contest question of the day, hit me up in the comment. Let me know which one of these 5 cards you're most excited for and why. If you don't like any of them, you can let me know that too, of course. If you've been enjoying these, check out the whole playlist right here. Not exactly sure where it is, guys. I'm just kidding. Hopefully check out the playlist of all the card breakdowns we've been doing on the channel. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for listening today. See ya.